Boom. Barcelona's market is heating up. Collision 4 of the club's biggest stars just saw their transfer values skyrocket. We're talking 200 million euros and 140 million euro levels. But wait, it's not all good news. Shocking new leaks have surfaced about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen's character and the eye-watering cost of keeping him at the club exploding head. Plus, one Barça heavyweight is on the verge of a contract renewal, and Fabrizio Romano just dropped the confirmation. Stay locked in. This is the drama, the money, and the power moves that define Barcelona's future. Welcome back to Barcelona News World. A quartet of first-team stars at La Liga giants Barcelona have seen their respective market values bumped up this week. Taking into account everything from performance to age, ability and beyond, Transfermarkt are considered the leaders in the field of player valuations across world football. All of a Barcelona persuasion in turn will no doubt be interested to hear of the latest word stemming from the market insiders early this week. The most headline-grabbing change comes in Lamine Yamal's price tag, with the 17-year-old now considered to be worth a whopping 200 million euros, up from his previous 180 million euro valuation. Also enjoying a 20 million euro increase is Blaugrana midfielder Pedri, now coming in at 140 million euros. Wideman Rafinha, after a Ballon d'Or-level season, is up to 90 million euros, whilst youngster Pau Cubarsí now clocks in at a valuation of 80 million euros. Further stories leaked about Marc-Andre Ter Stegen character and mammoth cost at Barcelona. It is not exactly surprising to see stories emerging from the Catalan capital that do not paint Marc-Andre Ter Stegen in the best light. The 33-year-old is set to be usurped by Jong this summer, who Barcelona intend to make their first signing this summer, and an exit for Ter Stegen would do them plenty of good in terms of potential issues in the dressing room and in terms of their accounts. According to Sport, Ter Stegen is set to earn a total of 42 million euro over the remaining 3 years of his contract before taking into account bonuses and performance-related objectives. A significant amount of money, and more than Barcelona can afford to spend on a backup goalkeeper, if that is what his role be. This is reminiscent of Barcelona filtering details of Frenkie de Jong's contract when the club were keen to move him on. Attitude concerns over Ter Stegen. There have also been stories about Ter Stegen's leadership this season, and his attitude not going down well with the sporting direction. MD note that during Barcelona's title celebrations after their home clash with Villarreal, Barcelona's players, and in particular Ter Stegen, were due to give speeches to the crowd. However, the captain decided that this would not be the case, altering Barcelona's plans in a move that did not go down well with either manager Hansi Flick or president Joan Laporta. This comes less than 24 hours after a report that Ter Stegen's handling of Wojciech Szczesny continuing as number 1 despite his return to fitness also rubbed Flick and the club the wrong way. Ter Stegen's stance on Barcelona exit. Ter Stegen has so far been adamant that he does not want to leave Barcelona, and is unhappy with the way the club have handled the matter. Nobody from the club has yet discussed it with him, and he feels he has been ambushed. Manchester United and Galatasaray have begun monitoring his situation in light of recent events. Barcelona heavyweight with 45 million euro market value very close to contract renewal, Romano. Frenkie de Jong has experienced ups and downs throughout his stint at FC Barcelona. Signed from AFC Ajax back in 2019, the Dutchman has often been a divisive figure among the fans. Not very long ago, the midfielder was even being forced out of the club due to his high salary but remained firm on his stance of wanting to stay and succeed in the Catalan capital. Having endured an injury-riddled 2024, De Jong came back strongly in the second half of the current season and established himself as a key cog in Hansi Flick's team. As such, what once seemed like an almost certain departure has now shifted toward a likely contract renewal. The Barca captain has rediscovered his best form and once again feels comfortable within the squad and could sign a new deal. De Jong close to contract renewal. Indeed, according to transfer expert Fabrizio Romano on DAZN, De Jong is very close to renewing his contract with Barcelona. I think De Jong is going to stay at Barcelona. The player is super comfortable and super happy at Barca. He has even spoken publicly about this idea he has of staying at Barca, of renewing his contract, said Fabrizio on the matter. Romano further talked about the rumors of De Jong wanting to part ways with his current agent, Ali Dursun, and find new representation for himself. There is a lot of talk in Spain about the possibility of him changing agent, that's why the renewal. Let's see what happens with this. But from what they tell me from the player's side, he is very keen to stay at Barca, very comfortable with Hansi Flick. Given all these signals, Romano reinforced that a new deal is increasingly likely. There is a huge likelihood of seeing Frenkie de Jong renew his contract in the coming weeks or months, Romano concluded. De Jong's current contract with Barcelona expires in 2026 and the club are keen on avoiding entering the new season with the player in the final year of his deal. The Netherlands international himself hinted this past weekend that talks over an extension are progressing in the right direction. As such, a new deal might be on the horizon for the Barcelona captain. From rising valuations to internal leaks, Barcelona is anything but quiet this summer. €200 million moves, character scandals, and a massive renewal on the way. It's all happening. What do you think about Ter Stegen's reported issues? And which of these stars deserves their rising price tag? Smash that like button, subscribe for more breaking Barca news, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We're building the most passionate football community on YouTube. Barcelona have delayed their search for a number 9 until next season, with Robert Lewandowski set to lead their line for another year, the final one he is contracted for. However, President Joan Laporta has already started thinking about the post-Lewandowski era at Camp Nou. Lewandowski was Barcelona's top scorer last season, scoring 42 goals and giving 3 assists in his 52 appearances, including some crucial strikes in El Clasico against Real Madrid. Turning 37 in August though, it is no surprise that Barcelona are thinking about who will play through the middle after him. Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is back in Barcelona following a flight back from Germany. A meeting between him and the sports area is imminent. Ter Stegen remains furious. Julian Alvarez to Barcelona talk. Initially, when Joan Laporta returned to the Barcelona presidency, it was always noted that Erling Haaland would be the top target. But after that moved out of their financial reach, Lewandowski was brought in. More recently, Alexander Isak has been cited as the striker that most interests the recruitment at Barcelona. However, in recent weeks, there have been a number of links between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez. His agent has supposedly held meetings with several major clubs, but it was made known that an offer that would most attract him was Barcelona. Talk that was fueled by his agent too. Laporta admires Alvarez. Alvarez arrived at Atletico Madrid for €75 million, plus €15 million in variables, last summer, and by the midway point this season, it became clear he was the star name in their lineup. According to Cadena SR, after watching him 4 times in person, Laporta has changed his tune from talking about AC Milan's Rafael Leo as a dream signing, to discussing Alvarez. Any move would occur next summer, despite Atletico's constant assertions that Alvarez is going nowhere. Alvarez's debut season at Atletico. The 25-year-old forward was a constant for Diego Simeone this season, leading the line alongside one of Antoine Griezmann or Alexander Sorloth. In his 54 appearances, Alvarez scored 29 goals and gave 7 assists this season, just 9 less than Lewandowski in a far less prolific team. In the last few years, the number of players making the jump from the FC Barcelona academy to the first team has been quite high. The current Blaugrana first team includes several such players who made the jump from the youth academy, including Gavi, Alejandro Balde, Pau Cubarsí, and Lamine Yamal. Meanwhile, there are still some other very promising players playing at the youth level and in the Barcelona subsidiary teams who are in line to get their opportunities playing with the first team in the upcoming preseason. Hansi Flick wants Noah Darvic in preseason. One such Barcelona quarry player who has raised a lot of hopes about his future is the midfielder Noah Darvic. Despite a slow start after his move to the Catalan club, he has shown some signs of improvement with the B team, but his future at Barcelona is quite uncertain. According to Mundo Deportivo, Hansi Flick likes the midfielder and would want to have him under his command for the upcoming preseason. However, his presence in the first team is not entirely guaranteed for the next season, and thus he is considering some offers he has received from around Europe, but mainly from Germany. Darvic also considering outside offers. Stuttgart and Bayer Leverkusen are 2 such clubs from the Bundesliga that are interested in the young midfielder. Meanwhile, the Premier League giants Manchester City have also shown an interest in him. However, Darvic is yet to make a decision in this regard. In 2023, the German playmaker had signed a contract for 3 years, with 2 additional optional years, which was in line with the UEFA-mandated formula for underage players. He has a €1 billion release clause, but he is currently focused on the U19 European Championship. Flick likes the midfielder and has already called him up for 2 league games, against Celta Vigo and Real Valladolid, although he did not end up playing. The German coach believes he has a good future ahead of him, but his position is already quite saturated in the first team. Thus, it remains to be seen where he will be playing next season. Lamine Yamal has once again made Barcelona proud by becoming the highest valued player in world football. In the latest Transfermarkt valuation update, Yamal's valuation has been raised to 200 million euros, overtaking Vinicius Jr., whose market price was lowered to 170 million euros. However, Yamal is not the only player who has made Barcelona proud. Cubarsí, most valuable defender in the world. Thanks to the new valuation updates, Pau Cubarsí has become the joint most valuable defender in the world. This is because the youngster's valuation has risen 10 million euros to 80 million euros, which is on par with Arsenal superstar William Saliba. Both Saliba and Cubarsí now have a valuation of 80 million euros, thus making them the most valuable defenders in the world, along with Achraf Hakimi and Alessandro Bastoni. Cubarsí's defensive teammate Jules Koundé is not far behind in the race either, with the Frenchman currently enjoying the 10th spot on the list of most valued defenders. The right-back is currently valued at 65 million euros, which is just 15 million euros shy of Cubarsí and Saliba. However, the Frenchman is trailing quite a few defenders, including William Pacho, Josko Gvardiol and new Real Madrid signing Trent Alexander-Arnold. Another Barcelona player in the running for the most expensive defender is Alejandro Balde, whose valuation stands at 60 million euros. However, unlike Koundé and Cubarsí, the Spaniard's valuation hasn't increased. Nevertheless, Cubarsí, for his part, will be delighted with the valuation increase, which will serve as a morale booster for the young defender as he looks to take up a more leadership role next season. With Íñigo Martínez in the final phase of his career, the onus will indeed be on Cubarsí to become more expressive at the back and eventually become a key defensive leader for the club. Lewandowski's final year is here. The next number 9 is being lined up, and Barca's youth are turning into gold. What do you think? Is the future of Barcelona in safe hands? Backhand index pointing down. Comment, like and subscribe for more Barca News World.